minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Keith, you're up.
There we go. All right, the financials are presented for as of February 28th. We have a total of $11,300,000 in total cash, of which $9,303,000 is in the bad basin. And just under $2 million, $1,998,000 in CWIP funding. We have $903,000 in outstanding contracts, about evenly split between the bad basins and CWIP. The next thing is we had our CPA audit. And the auditor is supposed to be here to make the presentation.
Well, I think we're gonna
hasn't gotten here yet. So
skip over
we'll have to
it.
skip over that part until that's up to your eyes.
All right. Linda?
The list of reporting and findings, we are up to date on everything so far. The annual retrofit reports, were sent to the county, Westchester and Putnam counties and the DEP. And the, O&M invoices and notices went out to the municipalities, both by email and snap. On the reverse, people still remain, Dan Ciarcia from, Yorktown. We're waiting for his board evaluation, which is probably too late at this point, because they've been submitted to the ADO. And a conflict of interest, and then, the three new board members, two from Putnam Valley, and the, town of Falling. Kathy Giordano is scheduled for her ABO board member training, and that's all she has to do, and she'll have completed all the compliance stuff. So we're just waiting for Putnam Valley to do theirs, and they actually have a year to complete their board member training. So.
Notice go out on the financial disclosures?
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta go find out.
yeah, I sent it out, and I got some people actually sent to me their confirmations. Yeah. But we have till mid-May.
Doesn't the county send you the confirmation too, or no? It's the individual?
No, they, individual board members have sent me confirmation, so.
Send you mine.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's all I have.
Kevin? We're back to the old days.
Okay.
No major updates for the project list. We're still pushing ahead to entering into all contracts for construction for 2026, round out 1 through 10. The belief is now that we've gone through a long winter that Kent MB 1000 will be wrapping up within the goal is June 1st, I think is what we circled for that project and completing plantings. So as I've said previously, we expect I'll be going out to site shortly with the engineer and the contractor to review any line of sight issues or screening issues that may have been created through the process of construction, and we'll look to do a change order for that and get any plantings that we need. That's it.
And we're still waiting for, the one I'm always talking about, Woodcrest. Yep, we're still waiting for him to.
Waiting on the engineer. And I'll reach out to him.
Who's engineer?
The engineer is Pittenger and Dutch.
Okay. And the neighbor has given back his feedback, or?
Yeah, he's provided feedback, but I'm just waiting for them to adjust the plan set so we can fit it to what his feedback was.
So we came to a resolution to address it.
It moved forward. I wish I could say that it was a resolution.
Okay.
However, this property owner has very specific things in mind that, try to
Specific.
talk him back from. Is the best way I can put it.
Okay.
You wanna finish up?
Change order?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So the change order we have today is to approve an increase in cost for insight engineering for the construction administration on Kent MB 1000. The project we anticipated the project to conclude right around this time, when we originally signed on the contract. And because of the winter that we had, where we actually physically had a winter, unfortunately, construction did not conclude. We had hoped and expected. We expected to go out further. In speaking with Insight Engineering, they took their original proposal and just had a multiplier on it to extend it to the amount of time that's required for the weekly inspections and administration of the contract. So they've asked to tack on about $12,000 to the contract to cover the next 2 to 3 months of inspections and close out on the contract.
I'm not understanding that, Kevin, because well, from what I read, the contractor shut down for the winter because of the winter. So when a project's shut down, you should be closing it up so that you don't have to do the weekly inspections. And so why would we be looking at additional funds for that?
The DEP still required it as an open project,
I see.
because we have the multiple DEP permits in place for that, so we had to keep up with weekly
It
inspections.
just seems like a lot to me,
Sure.
and I don't really understand it, as to why there'd be that additional cost.
Yeah.
So. I'd be a no on this.
Okay. Yeah, the DEP required the continuous inspections. And so as that was the main piece of the presence for Insight Engineering on site, it had to be continued. And so we're.
But how did they come up with such an expense? That just seems,
The 12,000?
yeah. I mean,
Oh.
what are they charging to do this weekly inspection? It just seems like it's a large amount of money for it.
I could get more detail for offhand. I don't have the answer to specifically the breakdown of it, but as it was just an extension of the original, I think 3 month, no, I think the original 6 month construction administration contract that was previously approved.
Okay.
But
in that, was it just a cost of the weekly inspection at that point? So if it had continued, if we didn't have the winter we had. It was.
I can double check and see whether or not that original contract included closeout and record documents, for instance. I don't believe that did, but I'll take.
And that's what this change order includes that then?
This change order is just bringing the project to conclusion. So they just took the rate that had previously been applied and extended it from 6 months to 9
I guess
months.
I would want more information.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I would question that if they didn't do any work because of the winter,
Right.
why is there additional effort on the part of Insight?
Well, he's saying they did the weekly inspections. That was my
But
question.
yeah,
So that's why I want
Yeah.
to know, how did
Yeah.
they get to that amount?
yeah.
It just seems excessive
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, based on the amount that Kevin just said, the 28,200 worked out to 4,700 a month. I mean, if you take that by 3, it works out to 14,000, so apparently we're getting, that $12,000, right? So there's that's just straight ratios, right?
Alright.
But what happens then is, were they really, do we have documentation? They were doing all those inspections and they were out there, and, I mean,
And then the question is about the closeout documents and any administration. So are we gonna be looking at another change order if it doesn't include that, or?
That's not the conversation I had with Insight, that they intend on submitting an additional change order. In fact, I requested that, if we are going to extend this, they'd be very confident that this is the only time we're extending it.
Mhm.
But if you'd like, there still is funding through March to make sure that they can continue the evaluation on site. There is documentation of the weekly inspections that have been sent to us, as well as the DEP. We can table it for now, if you guys feel so, we need more questions that are to be answered.
I guess the other question would be, is 3 months sufficient to complete this work, right? So I don't know what needs to be done, where are they at, you know, I guess a little more detail on that would be addressing Laura's
Yeah.
concerns, right? So we can go from there.
Sure.
You know, and understanding how that number got broken down would be a little helpful.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you.
We'll table it. The next one.
Yeah, and it's, and I'll double check with Insight, make sure that there's no concern over from today's date to April's meeting.
Right.
If there is, I'll voice that with you all, and we'll figure out the best course of action, make sure there's no issue there.
Thank you.
And just, right now, they're working and doing the inspections, or they're gonna start doing the inspections regardless of the fact that we didn't extend this change order, right? Somebody has to be out there doing inspection.
Right, I'll make sure that I have the answer to that question. I just don't have the exact.
I mean, that's important, right? I mean, the inspections need to be done,
Oh, yeah.
nobody's doing them.
Right, this was a proactive item. It wasn't,
Gotcha.
it wasn't.
So there's no penalty if they stop doing the inspections.
Well, they
Oh,
can't,
yeah.
we can't.
They can, right? I mean,
They
there's no, they can't.
They can't
Find
stop
themselves in that
inspections. We
situation.
wanna confirm that they're gonna continue while we figure out this change
Not
order.
that I could say anything on this, but, we have an hourly rate for them.
Yeah.
They can approve an hourly rate for the inspections that need to be done between now and the next meeting.
Thank you.
Glad you didn't say anything. That's a good.
We do have an hourly rate for that, and we can evaluate that hourly rate to fill in the gaps.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for not saying anything.
He didn't say it, I said it, right?
That's right. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll table that for now. Thank you.
All right, let's take a step back. We have our auditor here. Welcome. Will walk us through all this.
Yes, so I am sharing a similar presentation that we walked through in the prior year. First, my name is Patty Brennan. I am the lead auditor on the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation and work closely with Keith, Linda, and Kevin at times, like Hester. You've all, I believe, been shared the financial statement draft that we're going to review today. I have shared also a presentation that is similar to the prior presentation that would create some comparatives just to see more of a trend than just the financial statements themselves. Going to be the other document. That was the other document. Yeah, okay. So just an outline, we're going to go over the audit results, collateralization, financial highlights, the condensed statement of net assets and net position, any findings and comments we do have. So if we move on from slide 2 to slide 3. On page 3, the summary of our audit results. It is an unmodified opinion that's being issued. There have been no internal control weaknesses identified or significant or material non-compliances identified. So if you were to read your yellow book report that is at the back of the financial statements, there will be no findings noted, no material items, no control issues noted in your financial statements. On page 4 of the slides, collateralized deposits, your bank deposits, there's 0 uncollateralized or at risk. The aggregated balance at December 31st, 2025 is $8,188,432. At December 23rd, an M&T treasury matured, and therefore it became a liquid asset, cash equivalent, and it's been classified as a cash equivalent at December 31st. It's subsequently been reinvested. It's just by 12/31. It looks like there's additional cash on hand if you were looking at a comparative from year to year. It's just because that one M&T treasury bill did come due at 12/31 right before it could be reinvested. On page 5 of financial highlights, your net position has an increase of $544,000. It's primarily, and it is related to the interest and dividend earnings on the investments. Slide 6, condensed statement of net position. This is a 3-year comparative for fiscal year 2025. You can see your current assets is a trend as the additional work's being done on the projects and being completed. You can see it going from 24 to 13 million down to 12 million. I did include in there your capital assets, 7,000, and the 3,500 is the lease. It had 1 month due, January 2026, subsequently it's been renewed, but that is reflected in your current assets. On page 7, net position for the liabilities. For 2025, if you compare that to 2024, your current liabilities at 821,000 compared to the 433,000. That is primarily due to one accounts payable that was due at 12/31, and that was with Scape Technology, landscape technology for the Kent project. So it is just one accounts payable that was due that inflated that one number. And again, the 3,500 is related to the corresponding lease liability. So there's assets is picked up as well as a liability. And then the total deferred that sits in the advanced funding that's remaining, 9.1. And that's a total of all the different project funding that's been deferred at this point at 12/31. And you can see the trend again from 23 to 24 to 25 is that deferred inflow is decreasing. Deferred revenue is recognized as project expenses are completed. So it is on trend as expected that you would see a decline in that deferred inflow. Okay. On slide 8, net position. Overall, no significant change in your net position. The investment in capital assets, again, that's an offset between your capital assets and the leases as the net impact between the asset lease and the asset liability is a net to 0 and just pretty primarily just your capital assets. That page. Yes. And the rest remains in unrestricted. Slide 9, revenues as a comparative. 2025, 2.6 million is the program revenues that were recognized as earned from that deferred revenue inflow source. The non-operating income, the 400,000, that is that interest earnings and dividend earnings from your market investments again. Total revenues at 3.1 million. And again, it's very comparable to previous years. Slight decrease in interest and dividends earnings as there's change in our market. So it's a big change. Okay, next slide, on slide 10, expenses of the comparative for the last 3 years. Operating at 2.6, non-operating $896 is the required lease interest recognition. You're required to recognize your lease agreements as a calculation of if there were an interest rate, hypothetically, as we know, most lease agreements don't include interest rates, but you're required from lease standard to incorporate in that in the calculation when you record leases, and that's the $896 is just the portion of your lease. You're not paying additional interest. It's just carved out of that one payment.
And actually, the rent has been decreased by roughly a amount. You look at the totals, there's so many added together,
And yeah,
that's what we paid in rent.
so it agrees right back to that lease agreement. But for accounting GASB reporting standards, it has to be carved out. Slide 10, change in net position. Overall, it's a comparative of your revenues to your expenses and the change in net position. Again, next page. Okay. You see the revenues and expenses, and that difference is pretty much is going to be your change in net position is your interest in dividend earnings on the market share. On page 12, financial findings, there were no findings during the audit. Again, as earlier mentioned, you'll see in your yellow book report, there are no compliance issues noted, no other matters, no material or significant weaknesses noted. On slide 13, our suggestion, That will be in your required communications with those charged with governance. It's not issued as of today. We will issue it once we have a representation letter back and it's a finalized document that will be shared with the full board. The one recommendation we do have is a repeat recommendation from the prior year. It is a journal entry review. As you mentioned, segregation of duties is hard to achieve when we have a small business office. Keith and I did discuss back and forth some potential for documenting a journal entry review. So I
And what
think,
we're trying to get away from is cutting down trees to having to produce the number of sheets of paper that would be required to do it on paper. So we've come up with what should be a solution to be able to do that without passing papers around.
Which is?
Hmm.
Which is?
Oh, presuming, and I haven't not discussed with Alan yet about it out there, but presuming Alan has the capability of doing signing off on Adobe. Doing the signature thing out there, I'll pass her a file and she'll be able to review the file and sign back and we'll have it documented here in office.
and from our audit perspective, as long as it's documented and saved, and able to be retrieved at a later date.
But this got, nice places to keep this server.
The only one I cautioned with, and I mentioned to Keith, is communications through email. When emails change or no longer available, retrieving someone's past email becomes a problem.
Right, that's why it'll be saved on the server, not in an email.
But that is not a new recommendation. I do, last year, there were 2 other recommendations that have been resolved.
So you just convert the email to an Adobe?
Correct.
I
Do it all the time.
yeah, I did on time. I've had other engagements go, well, we had an email, but they couldn't retrieve it because of change in staffing, or it was too old and it wasn't available to be retrieved. Then it didn't work as supporting documentation at that point. And that is my conclusion of the presentation. Are there questions? Would you like to go through the financial statements? Any?
I don't have any questions.
I just have one question. On page 15, you have deferred flows of resources. Those numbers represent on what was remaining in each of those pots of money at the end of the year.
Yeah, there was actually remaining advance funding, yeah.
So, thank you.
Any questions? Well, if you do, please feel free to flow them to Keith. He'll get them to me, or you do have my email address. I will respond to them. Thank you for your time today.
I guess it'll be down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So to move on to O&M program update. As Linda said, we have sent out all notices and invoices to municipalities. As a reminder, Westchester County, the contract with Westchester County has been completed in terms of available funding for Westchester municipalities. So all municipalities within Westchester should not expect a reimbursement coming for any work from 2025. We will hope to wrap all items up, working with Westchester County and make sure the reimbursements come from previous years. But as we just got out of winter, it is already time again to start looking at projects and trying to work towards maintenance for this calendar year. So please make sure your highway departments include us in their spring cleanups. One item that I wanted to touch on for maintenance was I'd like to go out to bid on an RFP for maintenance for projects within the FAD and FAD connected areas. So there's enough smaller items that will work better together in one solid RFP rather than having the towns individually do them. For example, there's plantings that need to be addressed on multiple sites for the health of the RPs and the requirements of the projects. There's fencing that needs to get done on those sites. And by pooling these all together, we can make sure that we get those projects taken care of a little bit more efficiently and in one shot rather than the individual towns taking care of them. Now, I say this specifically for Fed and Fed Connected because as part of the agreement that we have with the DEP for FAD, any earnings can be used towards maintenance of those projects. So if we pull it under our umbrella and take care of it ourselves, we make sure that all the contract requirements are taken care of as needed to qualify for FAD funding. And we make sure that it gets done in a timely manner and have that opportunity to use corporation funding that we have in place rather than having the towns go out and then reimburse. We can take care of this in one shot. And from my head count, there's about 10 projects within FAD and FAD Connected that would qualify. I think 6 of those I feel could use work, whether it's as I said, the plantings, fencing, hiring a back truck to go out and just give a clean sweep of everything. Again, all of this can be paid for by earnings with the current FAD agreement and lighten the load on the individual municipalities. So I haven't written this RFP up yet, but I wanted to at least bring the topic up with you all.
Well, can we get a list of the projects, including the project name, municipalities, description of the project?
Yep.
And what work you're proposing to do?
Yep.
So that we can go through and have a better understanding about why it needs to be done this way.
Sure. No problem. And that is it.
There's only 10 projects in the FAD that you can think of.
Yeah, that would qualify for this.
Kevin, for Eleanor Drive, wasn't some of that work covered under guarantee?
The work for Eleanor Drive, the agreed upon outcome was that it would all be paid for through maintenance funds.
Is that an agreement with us?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
What's the issue with Eleanor Drive?
Didn't sound horrible.
Well, I can tell you that.
There's the problem.
Whatever was planted, the approved planting plan, I guess did not survive. The basis took over, so our resource management folks are not happy about that.
But the outcome of the conversation is that it's paid for.
Were the plantings necessary for the function of the retrofit?
Well,
No, it does not impact the retrofit. It's more for aesthetics and to put nature back in.
no, my understanding, there was an approved planting plan that didn't survive.
No, you're right. There was a proof, but it has nothing to do with the retrofit itself. The retrofit,
In fact, that was on DEP land as well.
right, it's all on DEP land. The retrofit,
Land use permit, there was an approved planting plan, and that's not what's there now. I know we've had this conversation.
but the retrofit with the stream stabilization, all it is the big 5-6 inch rocks.
So the DEP is not satisfied with the retrofit protecting their water quality. They want it to look pretty as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Got it.
Invasives took
Oh,
over.
you don't care if it looks pretty.
Invasives took over the site.
Right.
That wasn't what was in the approved plan.
Right, by these.
My understanding was it was not watered correctly. And what was planted died. And then invasives took over as a result, so that's not what was, as part of the land use permit. So
So Phragmites took over the site when you say invasives?
I.
No, not Phragmites.
That's not.
Butterfly bushes.
No, so there's some trees that were planted up on the sides wherever they had some little work done, and they're just not there, right? But I mean. Yeah, invasives are gonna take over. Those trees will live for a little bit and then invasives are gonna take over either way.
Yeah, the idea of sometimes planting deciduous trees, especially Phragmites don't live in shade.
True.
So you plant the trees, eventually the trees will grow up and kill the fragmite as well. It's the only thing that will slow them down.
Well, I mean, the time to have discussed all of this and come to agreement was when you were, signing the land use permit that agreed to a particular planting function.
That is true.
Now we are.
I would give you that one.
Yes.
Now we have the opportunity to fix what's there. We have the opportunity to wrap it up.
Thank you.
And I look forward to the chance to seize that opportunity and
Seize the
move us
day,
forward.
seize the day.
All right, other business. We have any updates going around?
Mr. President, did the board actually accept the audit on authorized execution of the management letter? I think we had the presentation, but I didn't hear a vote.
Correct.
We could not authorize it.
Pardon?
We could not authorize this.
I guess I shouldn't have signed it.
Now we all have to vote no.
All right, so what you're looking for a resolution to authorize what?
Just to accept the audit report and authorize execution of the management letter.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You can sign it, man.
All right, Chris, anything else?
Yeah, is Neil there? I can't see who was all there.
Yeah. Saw your last email with Anna with the law department. I thought the last I heard, we're looking to take it to physical services in April. Is that correct still?
Yeah, we had a good meeting with Anna and we went through a lot of stuff. We exchanged some comments and we're waiting. I guess at this point, I haven't seen a revision back from her, but she just responded that she's planning to take this to physical services in a couple of weeks to one of their committees. Neil, I wasn't sure if she then has to take it to another committee or if that's the only committee. I didn't get that clarification, and maybe you could clarify that going forward.
My understanding is that it has to go to physical and April, and then we'll go to the full legislature for approval in May.
Okay.
Wasn't there a conversation we had to go to audit? No?
Well, Neil, can you just talk to people? Right. If I could just ask Neil to follow up and make sure that it's going to move through all the committees, talk to the legislative clerk and whatnot to make sure we're on the right track for all of that, so we don't get held up again.
Again, that's the only scenario that I've heard, but I will check.
Okay.
No other people's necessary.
Okay. And I'm sure that DEP would love to have a draft once Anna's reviewed that and is ready to present that to committee. So when that's available, if you could route that to me so we can share it, that would be terrific.
That's it? Nobody got anything?
No, I'll be sending out the checks to you guys for 2023 in the next couple of weeks, and then 2024 soon thereafter.
Great. You got anything, Vinny?
I don't.
Okay.
No, actually, I was telling Kevin before, I made some progress on the rollover contract. We're having an internal meeting next week. And then I'm gonna reach out to you shortly after that to maybe try to set up a meeting for the end of April. To start discussing what that rollover contract is gonna look like.
Okay. All right, last on my table is I'd like to invoke privilege and ask for an attorney-client session to discuss a legal opinion. How'd I do, Chris? She's wondering what the heck is going on. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a lot of opinions.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, make a motion that we send a letter to Yorktown, detailing their non-compliance on March 31st. If, no substantial progress has been made with Kevin.
Kevin, you'll let us know about what you feel is substantial progress.
Yes.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You all.
Wow, looks
All right, thanks, everyone.
All right now.